On YouTube, I accidentally jumped on the evangelicalist channel, so I think I lost my audience over there. Sometimes I feel really inadequate. Hi, Louisville. Glad you're here, Jimothy. Thanks for sharing the live. Jeff, hey. Good morning from Kansas. I have family, a brother and his family who live in Kansas. Yeah. So thank you for letting me know where you're joining from. So I've got my prayer beads. I'm in Oklahoma. It's very tough for me to live here. So we're just feeling those emotions and knowing that it is human and being alive to feel what we're feeling. We're told as kids, don't cry, don't be angry, be quiet. Hi, Jamie. Good morning, my friend. We're told to not feel our emotions on a regular basis. And because we're Americans, we have so much ability to avoid feeling our emotions. And so our mindfulness moment is a time to feel together and carry our burdens together. Eleanor on YouTube says, I'm in Oklahoma as well. And she agrees. She doesn't like living in Oklahoma either. Garrett's in North Carolina. Jeff says, where are you originally from? I'm originally from Missouri, and I grew up in the Midwest. I live out in California now. Steph says, thanks for taking time to go live. Of course. We do this every Wednesday morning, and then it's available for you on my YouTube channel anytime you need to come back and sit with your feelings and sit with a quiet time. So I'm so glad you guys are here. It feels like we're, hi, Michigan. Amy from Michigan is here. It feels like we're getting connected and feeling our emotions. So Lisette is asking, how do you use your prayer beads? So for one, I do a lot of things that just symbolize to my body that I'm going into a sacred moment or a sacred space. And that's lighting my incense and just holding my prayer beads just gives me that sense, lets my spirit know, okay, guys, it's time. We're going to go into this sacred moment. But then as I pray, I just like to have the tactile feeling of the bead in my hand. So as I'm praying for my wife, I'm praying for my son on this bead. I'm praying for my daughter on this bead. I'm praying for the fact that I need to fill up my coaching cohort next week with this bead. And so these are the things that I'm praying for with my spirit connecting to heaven. So what I want to bring, thank you for the likes, Jamie, on TikTok. Thank you guys on YouTube for being with me. This is just our time of connecting our spirits together. Can you pray rosary? No, I'm not Catholic, and so I don't pray rosary, but it is a similar process as to what I do here, though. I think in rosary, though, all of the beads represent a particular prayer, and I love that. I think that's beautiful. Hi, Cyber Poet. Good to see you. But these were given to me by a friend who's a Buddhist practitioner. And so I kind of use what is a very poor rendition of Buddhist tradition of just using the beads to focus my prayers. So in the book of Jeremiah, in the Christian Bible, it says, I, the Lord, test the heart. And the heart in that passage, if we were to give it a true word for word translation, actually is the word kidneys. I, the Lord, test the kidneys. Now, that seems very silly to us. Why would we test our kidneys? And the answer is because for the Hebrew writer at that time, for the ancient Hebrew writer, the kidneys were considered to be the seat of your emotions. Like we would say today, I feel it in my gut. I have a gut feeling. Very similar. It's the place where emotion rested. We would say heart because we think love or anger emanate from our heart. And heart can just mean core rather than the pumping muscle that we have inside our chest. But it's so interesting that it says, test the kidneys, test your emotions. This is why emotions are so important. They tell us what's happening in our core being and in our spirit. So test your emotions today as we sit with prayer beads and incense. What are your emotions telling you today? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you experiencing grief? Are you feeling like detached from your emotions? Those are kidney testing moments that say, hey, this is what's going on inside of me. This is what my spirit is trying to tell me now. So take a deep breath. Say to yourself, self, what am I feeling? Anybody in here, any part of me wants to speak and say, hey, I'm feeling this today. And we'll just sit together as a mindfulness community today and affirm that whatever it is you're feeling is a valid feeling and is real and is a part of your humanness and is beautiful. Danny says kidneys make a lot of sense though. My bowels get messed up if I'm being emotional. Yeah. Our emotions have big impacts on our physiology. What happens when you go to a physician and they say, where does it hurt, right? And if you say, oh, my hand hurts, then they're going to press on it and they're going to try to find exactly where that pain is. That's how they assess or triage where something is wrong that needs to be fixed. Our emotions are the same. We need to poke on our emotions so that we get a feel for what's going on inside and why we're feeling the way that we're feeling. If we do something to just placate those emotions, oh, I'm sad, as I'm feeling sad this morning. And if I just say, well, I'm just going to go get coffee and watch YouTube and ignore those feelings, then I miss a chance to see what's going on inside of my core, inside of my spirit. I do emotional well-being coaching. That's really the best type of pastoring I do. And this is what I do is, where does it hurt in your kidneys, in your emotions? And let's figure out why. So let me ask again before we go into our mindfulness time here, our actual prayer time, our contemplative time. What emotion are you feeling this morning? Take a deep breath. Breathe it out. Test your kidneys. What are your emotions that you're feeling today? And just share it in the comments so we can walk those emotions together. And I shared mine that I'm feeling very sad. You can share them again if you've already shared them if you like. I'm just feeling sadness. I feel like I make people sad around me. So I want to search out that emotion. What is it telling me? I'm going to turn down our music just a little bit. Danny says, I have a lot of joy. I started a job at WIC and I feel so useful there. That's awesome, Danny. Jean is feeling lonely. Jamie says, congrats to Danny. That's awesome. So feel your spirit and the emotions that are being felt in there. Carlos is saying my stepdaughter and I are not getting along. So I assume that brings sadness or fear, Carlos. Jamie says that it's not really an emotion. I just feel very focused. Yeah, is that a good feeling, Jamie? Thank you for sharing about joy, Danny, because joy and peace and hope are very fair and real emotions. And a lot of times what's very helpful is if somebody is feeling hopeful or powerful or joyful, then you can share that with the rest of us that may not be there at the moment. In the book of James, it says for us to call one another to pray for each other, to bear our burdens together. And it says the prayer of the righteous will heal the sick and their sins will be forgiven. So in carrying our burdens for each other, we validate one another's emotions and burdens, and we lighten that burden by carrying it together. Jamie says her feeling of focus is very good because she has goals this year and needs a level of focus more often than not. Lizette says kindred spirits are hard to find here, and I feel like I end up being a burden to them. Adam says, I feel deeply unknown and lost on a personal level. Wow. We have a lot of pain that we're carrying this morning. So I hope, for one, we learn how to find new ways and unconventional ways to do community together. That's why I started my new website, pastor-paul.com, to try to find some space of community together. But I say, Adam, you're not unknown at this moment. You are here, and I am so happy you're here. And Lisette, you are with kindred spirits today. And I love that you're here with me. And I connect my spirit with you in this moment. Just feel that connection together, that our spirit can connect into a mystical connection of human beings. And then as human beings, thank you for the likes, Jamie. We can connect with the divine spirit of heaven, the goodness of heaven, and be uplifted with that strength and hope that comes from something greater than ourselves. So let's just get very comfortable in our seat. So just start to imagine yourself as a spiritual being, as a spirit contained in a container of a body. And have an awareness of how that emotion is carried in that spirit and what your spirit is trying to tell you through that emotion. Why am I sad? Why am I feeling unknown? Why am I feeling disconnected from my feelings? And let your inner spirit tell you what's going on. Yeah, I feel those emotions coming from you guys. And I feel like there are voices that would tell you you feel these emotions because you're bad, that you deserve to feel those emotions. And I just want to tell you that that's not true. That's not true. I just want to tell you the truth of you. John chapter 8 says, you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. And the truth is not pray a sinner's prayer and read the Bible and everything will be okay. Truth is your identity doesn't come from a community of people. Your identity comes from your spirit and the knowledge of your spirit, and that spirit connecting to me and to others, and then our spirits connecting to heaven to get a true picture of who we are as a spiritual being. Yeah. So I just sit with that Lisette who says, I'm having a hard time processing the fact that so much of my life is gone. Hmm. So let's go into a sacred space together. Here's what that looks like. Just in your imagination, picture a safe, peaceful place. And it could be an imaginary place that you've never seen before, or it could be some place where you were able to go in your life and be at peace, be connected with the supernatural and the divine. Just take a deep breath and imagine yourself going there in your imagination, in your spirit. And sit in that space. And taking your emotional feelings with you, but also being able to connect to the sensations of that place. If it's outside, feel the breeze, feel the sun shining down. If it's in a room, just have a sense of the quiet and the peacefulness around you and why you find this space to be safe. Don't go to any place that feels like there's a chance of harm. I always go, when I was in 8th grade, we had this pond in our backyard with this diving board, and I would just go out there and sit on that diving board to get away from the hard stuff that was going on inside the house. I'm just sitting there in my imagination. Where are you sitting? Just see yourself there. Feel your emotions as you sit there, totally safe. Yeah, it's sad what we've lost. It's sad the hard things that we walked through. But now feel the hope of those that are coming in joy today. That you've made it to here. And I tell you, you'll make it again. So now have a sense in your sacred space of something divine joining you. So it could be God, if you have a safe picture of God. If God is not, as you knew God growing up, not a safe picture for you, it doesn't have to be the God of our Christian upbringing or anything like that. Just however you experience the divine, imagine that spirit of goodness of heaven, of God, if you will, or however you see God sitting with you in this sacred space at this sacred moment. What does God look like sitting with you at this moment? If you're not sensing that spirit, it's okay. Sometimes we have to learn what that feels like, but just sit in this moment, holding your emotions, not letting them just disappear, but holding on to them and sitting with them with something of heaven sitting with you. Imagine that spirit of heaven being the collection of all of us sitting together and the spirit of heaven sitting with you. What does that spirit look like, feel like? Just experience that moment with the spirit of goodness from heaven with you. There's something of the energy we bring together when we do this together. It's wonderful when I have my own meditation time, but when I feel your spirit joining with me and us connecting to heaven, I feel more powerful. I feel like I have an easier connection to heaven, and I hope you're feeling that way as well. It feels very soothing to you. God is dead. Awesome. So now I believe that spirit can communicate with yours. And if you're feeling an emotion of sadness or of loneliness or of pain or of joy or of focus, you can say, that's my incense smoking around me. And you can ask that spirit of heaven, what is this emotion telling me today? What do I need to know from my spirit, from my core, from my kidneys today? And then just listen and see what resonates in your spirit, in your mind's eye, in your inner hearing. What do you hear? Some of you may say, I don't hear anything at all, and that's okay. Just sit in this moment together. My incense is attacking me. Make sure, as God is dead is saying there, make sure you breathe. So I bless you in this moment, in this sacred moment of sitting, of hearing, of feeling, of connecting. And I give you my hope in my spirit today to go with you through this week. And that as you are connected with your feelings and your emotions, you're going to start to gain insight into who and where you are. And the voices that tell you you're not good enough have been a bondage. There's going to be some freedom start to come into those spaces that tell you, oh, you are good enough. You are amazing and fearfully and wonderfully made. Could you read Psalm 121? Yeah, so I'll read Psalm 121 like God has did. The Psalms are great for these types of practices. And for those of you who Christian language and Bible reading can be triggering, just let me ask you just then to see it in the context of your vision of what heaven looks like. Sorry, let me mute the troll. Sometimes we have children that can't help themselves that come on in these very special moments. I lift up my eyes to the hills, says Psalm 121. I hope this is the right one. God is dead. If it's not, it's still beautiful. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, the God of heaven, the Spirit of heaven, who keeps Israel, will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil, will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and coming in from this time and forevermore. So again, I apologize for anybody that gets triggered by sort of patriarchal God language. But if we imagine this ancient vision of God being some ability to explain the connection and collection of our spirits together, yeah, the Lord to me is an ancient writer's vision of what heaven and the spirit of heaven looks like. They only knew patriarchal authority, so God had to be a he. But let's take it into our language today, and we would say that spirit of heaven of goodness that I can interact with my brothers and sisters and with myself. It is beautiful. God is dead. Thanks for sharing. So Lizette, is that helpful? When you hear the Lord, just think of, what does my connection to heaven look like? Just because Christians have perverted the idea of the spirit of goodness of heaven into a patriarchal, very thin skin, obsessive, easily offended God doesn't mean I have to lose my connection to the supernatural. Ashley says heaven equals perfect love. So now if we're in our sacred space and the spirit of heaven has been with us, let's have a moment of gratefulness. The great things about the Psalms in the Bible is they lay out truth. I'm in pain. I hate what I'm feeling. I hate myself. It pours it out. I hate God that you're not helping me. And then they usually come back to some end, but my hope comes from above. And so let's just get there in this moment of gratefulness. Thank you, Spirit of Heaven, for joining with me in my sacred space today. Can you share that gratefulness with the Spirit of Heaven, with my spirit? Rosie says, that's a good thing. The incense is loving your energy. Oh, that my incense is chasing me with the smoke. Thank you, Rosie. Garrett says, I've struggled with that before. That's really helpful. Yeah, we don't have to see God as an angry, easily offendable, bearded man on a throne. I don't believe that's the truth, even that the Christian Bible really portrays. God, thank you for the likes on TikTok, everyone. So we are grateful, Spirit of Heaven, that you've joined us today, that you've shared this moment, and we release our spirits from this sacred space with gratefulness as we come back together in this virtual live together. Worsternmeyer, worstest RN ever? Is that what you're saying? It says, thank you from this hospital worker. I bless your day. Thank you for the work that you do. It's that you guys are being treated as you are just makes me so sad. God is dead says, if you wish to see the change, be the change. Yeah, and sometimes we have to get healed up from what brought us to where we are before we can be that change. Thank you for sharing the live. God is dead. So I just tell you of my gratefulness that you have connected your spirit to me today. I feel your love. I feel your energy. And I just love it. Lisette says, let us carry your sadness too as you carry ours. Yeah, thank you, Lisette. I feel that today. I really feel that. How can you tune into the Most High guidance on your life and your life's mission? Let's come back and talk about that in a second. I thank you for that question. Yeah. I do coaching around those very questions on an ongoing basis. We just have to learn our heart and our passion and then say, how do I walk that out? Garrett on YouTube says, my wife is a nurse in the ICU. It's very disheartening to see people not believing in COVID. Yeah. I like what God is Dead is sharing is find out our purpose. We look inside. Where is our passion? Where is our empathy? And say, wow, that's where I need my purpose and focus to go. Yeah. So I'm going to disconnect my spirit from yours and yours from mine, and we can hang out together here for a few minutes before I have to run into my day. But thank you. I'm so grateful that you have connected. And as Lisette said, you've carried my sadness with you today. I'd love for you to share, what did you hear in your quiet time? What did you hear? I was just feeling sadness of making others sad around me. And I just heard from heaven that it's not my fault, that I do bring joy that I'm not even aware of. And that part of why I'm where I am are reasons that weren't my fault. I can have empathy for myself and forgive myself, which is such an important thing. It's beautiful. Yeah, Lisette, I understand the struggle to feel empathy for some crazy people in this time. I think it's a season just to work on having empathy for ourselves. Yeah. But I saw some other thing, and yes, Professor Carlos, I do this just on Wednesdays. Ashley says that is for sure. God is dead. Says you're such a beautiful soul. So are you. Kathleen says she heard that she still has a purpose. That is beautiful. Sharon says, thinking about letting my birthday balloon go into the sky with gratitude and hope for love to find me. Yeah. Love that. So I just do want to remind you guys that we do a lot of things to build community throughout the week. I'll share that on YouTube. It's what we call pursuing emotional and spiritual well-being together. So every Wednesday morning, we have our mindfulness moment. Tonight, we have Evangelicalish that I do with April and Jeremy. Thursday, I post my post-evangelical podcast. On Saturdays, I release Pastor Paul's Bible Talk. And then on Sunday morning, we take communion together in our Sunday community. If you're on YouTube, you can see that schedule. If you're on TikTok, you can go to my bio and click on the link tree, see all that information there, and get to my website. Yeah. And I always like to share the opportunity for you to financially be a part of what I do, if you appreciate it. I don't take up tithes and offerings or pass the offering plate. I'm a for-profit work, so I pay taxes. And so I want to just give you the opportunity. If you go to my website, pastor-paul.com, and click on the Support Pastor Paul tab, for just $5.99 a month, you can join our support community and be a part of making events like this possible. If you're on YouTube, you can just point your camera at the QR code there. I also have my Venmo up there if you would just want to do a one-time giving. I don't go around and raise support like a missionary does. I sell subscriptions for cool stuff on my website and for content, but mostly I just ask, in some of your charitable giving, and I know we think charitable means tax deductible, but I just don't work that way. I think churches abuse that privilege of their tax exemptions. So, but in your giving from your heart, would you consider being a part of my support community? Yeah, I would really appreciate it. For just $5.99 a month, if I can get to a base of like 300, 400 followers on there, then I can really pour myself into this. And through my coaching work, then I probably could even start hiring some help so that I would be better when I get started on these lives. As an atheist, this right here is what Jesus meant by "they will know you by my fruits." Last thing I'll share with you guys, and then you can ask me any questions you want, is I do emotional well-being coaching. And so I have a webinar coming up tomorrow night and this Saturday. They're the same webinar, so you can choose one or the other. It's called "Am I Happy? Am I Even Supposed to Be Happy?" And it's for those of us that are maybe struggling to find our footing. I do emotional well-being coaching. For a lot of us, when we've lost our church, our belief system has changed. We're like, where is my identity coming from? It's like when Jesus in John chapter 8 said, "The truth will set you free." The response of the religious people around him was like, "Hey, we're in this religious community. We're always going to be free." And the truth is, they were enslaved to that community belief system, and leaving that community belief system is very scary and feels lonely, as Lizette has been sharing today. So we really have to do what Jesus did, go have those moments alone where he prayed all night on the mountain saying, "Who am I? What is my purpose?" And so I do coaching to help people in that transitional season. So the webinar is called "Am I Happy? Am I Even Supposed to Be Happy?" And the webinar tomorrow night and Saturday. So come join me for that information again on my website, pastor-paul.com. Or if you're on TikTok, you can go into the link tree in my bio and find out about it all. All right. Thoughts, questions? So God is dead. I see your questions there. If you go to my website, why don't you send me a message? Remind me of this interaction and just kind of tell me what you're talking about and what the work looks like. And I'd be glad to work with you as makes sense. I want to make sure when you're sending people my way, I have for them what you would hope I have for them. Victoria says, "I was having an extra depressed morning and struggling to get going. This made the difference." Awesome. Freedom from Religion says, "People listen when embraced with kindness." It's very true. God is Dead says, "I also help with mental therapy and depression, and I have theists whom I think." Yeah, I would love it if you send people my way that I can help. Like I said, if possible, I don't know if you can DM. The DMs in TikTok are working so weird now. So go to pastor-paul.com and click on the connect and send me a message. Jean, there's no off topic right now. You can ask anything you want. Jean says, I loved your book. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'll show you my book. It's my novel. I'm sorry, I've got pages marked in this one, so it looks kind of ugly. But I know it's backwards on TikTok. But on YouTube, you can see it. Well, it's called Joseph Comes to Town When the Religious Right Becomes Religiously Wrong. It's a novel. And it's basically my vision of what Jesus would say to the evangelical church in America, were he here in the flesh today. So thank you, Jean. I appreciate that. If you go to my website, pastor-paul.com, and click on books, it tells you all about it. She says, I gave my dad a copy for Christmas too. What did dad think about it? Thank you for doing that. Smiley Me says, good morning, Pastor Paul. Good morning, Smiley. Glad to see you. Freedom from Religion says, I'm definitely going to be going through your content today, Pastor. Thank you. Freedom from Religion. That's an interesting moniker. So are you sort of a separation of church and state guy, or are you saying you want people to not have religion in their life? And none of that is an accusation. I'm just interested. Lisette is sending love to Sharon. God is dead says, yes, he's definitely a step above the usual. Thank you, guys. Those are really kind words. I always am honored when agnostics and atheists or people of other religions say they honor what I do. I love it. He hated the beginning, but around chapter 4 got hooked. What did he hate in the beginning? The like defensive marriage rally stuff or something. What do you think about Maria Magdalena and the word amygdala in relation to the human body design? Maria Magdalena. I'm not sure how that works. The amygdala, I believe, is an important part of our physiology that gets very, very triggered and tripped by our emotional unhealthiness and gets kicked in. And it takes a lot of resource that we need to be able to say to our amygdala, or the underlying part of us that's driving the amygdala with PTSD or fear or hopelessness, and say, amygdala, I need my resources for the thinking part of my brain. Can I have those resources back that you're pulling together to try to save my life? Yeah. I'm more about not using religion as a weapon against different beliefs. Boy, I totally agree with you. We are simpatico there, my friend. Are you referring to the 22 consonants and their physical, biological representation? Yeah, you guys are talking about something I don't know about, and let me know if it's something I need to study. Gene says he's a bit on the far right. I think he recognized himself in some of the characters. That's my hope. That's my hope. I hope they recognize themselves as Pastor Saul in the book and see that they can have transformation come. So thank you, Gene, for sharing my book and buying it for your dad. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. All right, Lisette, thank you for letting me share your burden with you today and share mine with you. Read the Sefer Yetzirah book of creation. Yeah, okay, sounds great. Well, God is dead. Connect with me and let's connect. All right, guys, I got to run. Move into my day. I bless you. I bless your spirit. My friends who practice Buddhism would say namaste. Like, I see the beauty in you. I see the light in you. I see it in me. Again, go to my website, pastor-paul.com. Check out my webinar. I'd love for you to join. Check out my coaching services, which is how I make a living. And please join the Pastor Paul support community to enable me to keep doing all this stuff. Hugs to you, Kathleen, Garrett, Rosie. Thank you for being with me. Jamie, always love seeing you on here. Thank you, Kelvin. I love your energy too. Bless you guys. Have an amazing day. We'll sign off on TikTok. We'll see you guys again soon. And YouTube, love you guys. Bye-bye.